name is Susan Boswell. I'm a clinical pharmacist at SoutheastHEALTH. I've been an employee of SoutheastHEALTH for 25 years. I really would consider myself very healthy, have really no other issues, no high blood pressure or anything else. It was a weekend, and on Saturday I was doing all my favorite things. I went to Health Point, I did cycling class, I went to Mass that day, I went and got a pedicure that afternoon, which is one of my favorite things. And then that evening, I volunteered at a school function for my son's school. Sunday morning, I woke up, felt pretty good. About lunchtime, a fever started, and it was about 100, 101, so didn't think too much about it. Got a little more tired that day and just kind of laid around, didn't do much. That evening, I went ahead, fever was getting a little bit higher, but slept pretty good. And then I woke up Monday morning and realized my fever was about 102, that I should probably call in sick to work, which is very uncharacteristic for me. And kept thinking that whole day that I was actually gonna be able to make work. Every 2 hours, I would tell my husband, okay, I'm gonna make it in 2 hours. I'm gonna make it in 2 hours. My husband came up to our bedroom and he said, you're getting worse. He said, I'm taking you to Southeast Emergency Department. And I said, no, I am not going. It's a virus. I'll go in the morning if I'm not better. I said, but I'm not going tonight. And I started to get a little more confused, and I think he was gonna win this battle because the little inner in me said, okay, let's let him win and I'll let him take me. And immediately, Dr. Hyde and his staff started treatment on me.
Sepsis is also known as blood poisoning. It's the body's extreme response to an infection. It could be any infection, it could be a virus or a bacteria. When a person develops sepsis, they could have symptoms such as low blood pressure, high heart rate, fevers, chills, cold, clammy skin, mental confusion, generalized weakness. In Susan's case, she presented to the triage nurses with signs and symptoms concerning for sepsis. She was immediately taken to triage. The nurses took her vital signs and recognized that she did have the vital signs consistent with sepsis. She was immediately brought back to a room, and at that point, we initiated treatment. It's important that once sepsis is recognized, that we initiate treatment within about an hour. The treatment includes broad-spectrum antibiotics. It includes administration of IV fluids. And of course, during that time, we're obtaining labs, imaging, and other studies to attempt to find what infection you have and then exactly how to tailor treatment for that.
When Dr. Hyatt came in to my room and discussed with my husband and I that based on my condition that I was going to have to be admitted to the intensive care unit. At that moment, I knew I was very sick and was very shocked because 48 hours before that, I had done a typical Saturday exercise and considered myself very healthy. So it was very scary to me that I had to get admitted to the intensive care unit.
It's important to remember that sepsis is a medical emergency. We often think about heart attacks as a medical emergency, which they are, strokes are medical emergency, which they are, but sepsis is right up there with them. It's the third leading cause of death in the United States. Not every infection develops into sepsis. We tend to see it at the extremes of ages, younger and older. Many times it's because as we are young or we're in the older category, we tend to not be able to handle our body's response to infections as well as we do when we're in the adolescent to adult years. If you think you have sepsis or symptoms of sepsis, it's important to see a physician fairly immediately. If you're able to see your family physician, they will be able to recognize the signs and symptoms of sepsis. If not, then of course the emergency department's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we have highly trained individuals here that are trained to also detect the signs and symptoms of sepsis and treat it immediately.
This experience has taught me that sepsis can affect anyone. It can affect children, it can affect adults, it can affect the healthy, it can affect those who have chronic disease. And so it's very important that you know the symptoms of sepsis and that you can help prevent that from occurring to you or a loved one. I can't say enough about the staff at SoutheastHEALTH. Even down in the emergency room, explaining to my husband about what was going on, and he's not medical background at all, and just really explaining the need for me to go to the intensive care unit was wonderful. Once we got up there, the staff immediately started treating me, making sure that I understood what treatments I was getting, making sure I understand every procedure that was going to happen, and consulting any physician that needed to be consulted to help get the best care that I could have. Believe me, if I would have waited any longer, my outcome would have been different.